Nobody expected the Detroit Lions to look like this. A team once buried in rebuilds and heartbreak has turned into one of the most dangerous stories in football. Ford Field feels electric again, and every snap looks like proof that Detroit has finally woken up. They are faster, meaner, and more confident than anyone imagined. And what's happening inside that locker room is bigger than just winning games. It feels like a team rewriting its history in real time. The change didn't happen overnight. It started with grit, belief, and a coach who refused to quit when critics laughed at him. Dan Campbell's Lions have built something real, where toughness meets heart and every player knows his purpose. You can see it in the way the offense attacks from the first drive, how the defense plays with no fear, and how every mistake is followed by a louder response. This isn't just momentum, it's transformation. Every game looks like a statement, and every win feels like the start of something unstoppable. The question now isn't whether Detroit is good, it's how far this rise can go. Their offense looks sharper than ever, led by a unit that controls the line of scrimmage and dictates the rhythm of entire games. The city believes again, the league is watching, and the rest of the NFC can feel the shift. Because if this is only the beginning, then the story of the Lions offense might be what pushes this team from redemption to dominance. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Lions and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 250 likes on this video. Detroit Lions now own the tempo on offense, and that is what stuns opponents first. The line fires off with quiet force, Penei Sewell sets the edge, and the pocket feels calm while the defense scrambles. Motions pull eyes one way, counters hit the other, and by the time a defense adjusts, Detroit has already stolen a fresh set of downs. It looks simple on the surface, but every snap is layered with intent, and every drive feels like a slow squeeze that cracks a game wide open. The pieces fit like a puzzle built for pressure moments. Jahmyr Gibbs brings burst and angles that turn short gains into breakaway threats, while David Montgomery leans on contact and keeps the chains honest. Amon-Ra St. Brown wins space with timing and toughness. Sam Laporta punishes soft spots and drags attention to the seams, and the screen game arrives right when a blitz gets greedy. Detroit mixes inside zone, power, and play action until a defense has no clue which door to guard, then walks through the one left unlocked. But here is the twist that makes it all hold together. The voice that keeps the picture clear when the rush gets loud. The calm at the center is Jared Goff, and the way he runs this huddle changes everything. How he reads leverage, shifts protections, and turns patience into points deserves its own spotlight. And that is exactly where we go next. Here is what nobody saw coming from the Detroit Lions quarterback. Jared Goff turned noise into silence and pressure into order. He walks to the line, scans the front, checks the safety depth, and the whole field slows to his pace. When a blitz hides late, he slides protection with a quick call and turns a trap into an easy throw. When the pocket squeezes, his feet stay quiet, his eyes stay firm, and the ball leaves on time. This is not flash, this is control. Goff's rhythm is the secret gear that keeps drives alive. He reads leverage before the snap, then confirms it with the first step, and the ball finds the right matchup. If the defense sits in zone, he layers touch over the hook. If they live in man, he uses motion to create a clean release. Third down feels less like rescue and more like routine. Red zone snaps look patient, not risky, which is why mistakes feel rare and points feel earned. The huddle trusts him because he never chases the play that is not there. What nobody is talking about is how his voice shapes the entire identity. The way he resets a route after a misread, the way he praises a tough chip from a tight end, the way he keeps the clock clean at the end of a half. That tone spreads. It mirrors the standard set by the head coach, and that standard is the reason belief stuck in Detroit. So the next question is simple. Where did that standard come from, and how did it turn doubt into fuel? That answer lives with Dan Campbell. The Detroit Lions found a head coach who turned belief into rules you can feel on the field. Dan Campbell does not sell hype, he builds habits. Meetings start with hard truths, corrections land fast, and then practice turns fixes into routine. The room leaves with clear jobs, not slogans. and that is why the team plays calm when the game tilts. His blueprint shows up in moments that decide seasons. Fourth downs are not coin flips, they are planned, charted, and owned by the players. 2-minute offense and 4-minute finish work live in every practice, so late drives look steady instead of frantic. Young stars grow because the standard never moves, veterans buy in because effort gets rewarded, and the sideline trusts the call because it matches what they rep all week. Here's the twist that changes the whole picture. Campbell's tone shapes the offense, but it also fuels a defense that mirrors his edge. The unit adjusts without panic when bodies shuffle. It communicates, it hunts, and it turns pressure into takeaways. If you think the culture is impressive, wait until you see how the defense earned its new identity, and why it now tilts games on its own. The Detroit Lions defense turned chaos into clarity. Rotations did not water down the standard, they sharpened it. Aiden Hutchinson collapses edges with relentless hands. Aleem McNeil drives the pocket straight into the quarterback, and pressure arrives from angles that force hurried throws. What looked like patchwork on paper became timing, leverage, and pursuit working in sync. Offenses come in with a plan and leave chasing answers. The back end matches that urgency with brains and grit. Amik Robertson plays the ball like it is his every snap. Brian Branch closes space with rare instincts, and Jack Campbell reads routes while fitting the run with real force. Communication starts early. Checks travel clean across the formation, and late motion does not shake the coverage rules. Third down is where it shows best. Shallow crossers get walled, seams get squeezed, and tackles finish on contact. Kelvin Shepard and Aaron Glenn keep the calls flexible, so the unit disguises without losing discipline. Here's the part that should worry the rest of the conference. This defense is not just surviving injuries, it is building layers of trust that win in cold weather and tight games. The tone is relentless, the details are coached into muscle memory, and takeaways feel like the next logical step. That foundation was not built by accident. It came from a room that polices itself and a roster that believes in the same code. Which leads to the heart of this rise, the locker room core that makes players choose Detroit. Here is what flips good teams into contenders. The Detroit Lions have a room that polices itself. Captains like Jared Goff, Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Alex Anzalone, and Aiden Hutchinson set the tone before the coaches ever speak. Veteran arrivals talk about simple rules that never bend. Be on time, finish reps, protect the ball, finish the tackle. Miss a detail and a teammate corrects it on the spot. That daily pressure feels lighter because it is shared, and it turns Sundays into muscle memory. The secret is how the older voices lift the younger core without ego. Linemen teach protections after practice. Receivers quiz each other on splits. Defenders run extra pursuit periods with the same urgency every week. Jahmyr Gibbs sharpens footwork with backs and tight ends in the red zone. Brian Branch studies route stems with corners and safety. Jack Campbell runs through fits until they feel automatic. New faces blend fast because the message never changes. Work travels across the roster in one language. Effort is praised, excuses are not. But here is the twist that makes it sustainable. This chemistry did not happen by accident. It was chosen by the people who build the roster. Players keep choosing Detroit because the standard is clear and the plan is long-term. Extensions, smart depth, and targeted additions are the next test of that plan. And the front office has been ready for moments like this. If you want to see how belief turns into a lasting window, follow the choices that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell make next. The Detroit Lions are run by a pairing that speaks the same language. Brad Holmes scouts for traits that hold up in tight games. Dan Campbell coaches those traits into habits, and the result looks seamless on Sundays. Meetings are built around clarity, not slogans. Roles are defined early, guardrails are set for risk, and every addition must fit the locker room first. When the head coach and the general manager see the roster through the same lens, mistakes shrink and depth grows. Roster building here is a year-round craft. Draft boards favor processing speed, toughness, and clean football character. Contracts are timed so the core stays together without crushing the cap. Extensions are earned by consistent impact, not by headlines. The staff stages competition at every position, then insulates premium spots with smart insurance. If a corner goes down, they already have a plan. If the pass rush needs an extra pitch, They know which profiles to chase and what price keeps the window open. The quiet power is flexibility without panic. Waiver calls, practice squad elevations, and trade feelers are ready before the need lands. That is how you protect a season, and it is how you stretch a title window. The next step is the biggest one. Can this roster strategy translate from belief to rings? The path is there. The pieces are in place and the stakes are about to rise as we turn to the ultimate target, the Super Bowl vision. Nobody expected the Detroit Lions to stare down January like a team built for the big stage, yet the path is right in front of them. Post-bye health brings fresh legs, the schedule tightens, and every drive now carries playoff weight. The margin will be razor thin, but this roster has the poise to live in those moments. The kind of poise that turns a late third down into a season-defining snap. The climb is simple to say and hard to do. Finish games, travel with defense, and let the offense set the pace when the lights get bright. Depth across the secondary can tilt field position, the front can steal possessions, and the offense can close the door when it reaches the red zone. If that formula holds, the road does not scare this group, it suits them because their identity is built on control and response. If you believe this window is real, lock in with us right now. Tap subscribe, drop a like, and share this with a Lions fan who has been waiting for a season like this. Tell me in the comments which matchup will define the run, who is your playoff X factor, and what is the one adjustment that pushes Detroit from contender to champion.